All right, so we're ready for the very next step on our tiki. We've got the mouthpiece area trimmed, and what we're going to do now is we're going to put the top on the tiki. The top of the tiki adds structural rigidity, and of course it also makes it look a little more finished, but our ultimate goal here is this is a finished tiki, at least a finished paper tiki. This is just a model, again, of what we're going to be doing with the heavier paper, but it gives you an idea of how things are working. The top here is a cone, and we've got a much more complex shape here for the nose. I'll walk you through that here in just a minute. But first, let's make the top for our tiki. Our tiki obviously has a circular short sort of shape. You'll notice when you put the mouth on it that the bottom changes shape. It's not necessarily a circle anymore, and that's not a big deal. It doesn't matter. Well, we're going to put a cone on the top here, and the easiest way to make a cone is using a piece of the paper that's left over from the process of earlier today. I'm going to first fold this. This is half of a sheet of copy paper, and we're going to fold until we have a square. And the square is not critical that it be a perfect square. I'm just going to fold it until it's pretty close. It needs to be about the same on all sides, but again, precision isn't necessary. Perfect is the enemy of good enough, and for this application, good enough is what we're looking for. Perfect will just make you crazy. So I've got my square sheet created here. Before I move to the next step, I'm going to pull off just a wee bit of tape. You don't need a lot. I'm going to take a short piece of tape, tear it in half so I've got two pieces. I'm just going to put them aside there for use here in a minute. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my square here, and I'm basically going to make it into doll pants. The way I do that is I cut to the middle of the square. You can see now it's like doll pants. See, it's a little paper doll. So anyway. So I take one side, fold it over. You see how I join them there? I'm going to flip it over. And on the back side of this is the top. I have a little point here, and that point is where I'm going to put my first piece of tape, just to hold everything in place. And just because I can, I'm going to put another piece of tape right here, just to hold everything together. Now the closest point to this, anywhere that's on this, is that point there and this point here. So I'm going to cut a circle that goes around and joins at those points, and what I'll end up with is a nice little cone. Now I can start here or wherever. And I'm just going to cut a nice circle. And I'm going to cut this circle quite a bit bigger than the opening at the top of my tiki, because I don't want it to fall down in it, and I can always trim it after I have put it on there, and I know for sure that it's going to be big enough. As it happens, this shape, this form I should say, of making a cone, is exactly the same shape we're going to use to make eyes on the larger tiki, but obviously it's way too big to make eyes for this one. And we're not going to make small eyes on these because the paper just doesn't lend itself to it. And there it is. Just push it right down in there, and if you look, you can see it's flush all the way around. See, and then I just take a couple of little pieces of tape, and now the lid is held on. Just going to put a little piece of tape, so you can't really see it, and put it right there. Holds it on up. Popped a little, went a little too far here. There we go. Put it there, hold it in. This is hard to do while I'm holding the camera. I'm trying to perform for the camera, I guess. Sit down and do it. Put a little piece of tape there. Turn it upside down, you can see it just kind of holding it in place. That's all we're worried about. And you can see there's basic tiki, right? We've got everything we need going on here. Kind of makes it work. There we go. It kind of lifts right off there because it's some. Again, this is just a little model of practice tiki, and it's not crucial that it be either particularly strong or perfectly made. This is a practice for using on the bigger, heavier paper, so you can kind of see how all the pieces go together. When I cut that square out, it left me with magically the piece that's going to become the nose. And here's how we do the nose. Just fold this at the bottom, and again, distance isn't critical. Tikis have pretty exaggerated features, so we're going to use a bit of a ledge here. You'll notice that it makes a nice little L shape, and I didn't measure it. It's just, you know, whatever, wherever's comfortable. I'm going to clip this little section here and this little section here. I'm not measuring because I don't really care about it being perfect. Make it about there. So now I've got these two pieces that are loose, and I'm going to take and find the middle here, and I think the middle is about, I don't know, how about right there? Yeah, that's good. And I'm going to cut from the middle all the way down to there. And I'm going to cut from the middle all the way down to there. Basically made a little Christmas tree there, see? Simple shape. And what I'm going to do with this shapes, I'm going to bend, I'm going to fold, you see, it's easier if you put it flat. I'm just going to fold this piece in, not quite to the top there, almost. Oop, missed it, no big deal. I'm going to try and fold it at about the same place here. Yeah, that's pretty close. You can see it kind of makes a little scoop shape there. Fold it in there. A couple of little pieces of tape. A little small piece here. And put a small piece there. Pull it up. And we'll wedge it out. You can see it makes kind of a scoop shape there. I'm going to try and put the same function here. And done. There it is. And I've got this little scoop shape, and that becomes a nose. And the way I make that a nose, you'll notice it's flat across the back here. That needs to curve, because that curve is going to go right here on the tiki. So I'm going to start at the corner. Cut a curving line out of the thing, the back side of it, and it just goes right there, and it fits right on the tiki. Now the tiki now has a squared off edge on its nose, and I'm going to cut that into a curve. And I'll cut that into a curve. And there we have it. Bob is your uncle, nose and all. We'll put that, again, a couple of little pieces of tape. Again, this is just for the model, but you do kind of understand when you've built the model how easy and how difficult it is to make the shapes. I'm just going to put that on there. If it doesn't stick to my finger. And I'm going to put a little piece down here on the bottom just to hold him together. And there you go, tiki. Now when we go to make the full-size tiki, all of this business right through here will obviously be a lot more difficult and time-consuming to attach, but the basic forms here are discovered here. We'll add some shapes here on the sides to make the nose a little more dimensional, and we'll definitely make sure that it's attached better, both around this mouth area and around the nose, and absolutely around the top. We'll also be putting a bottom that matches the top. That gives it some good structure. And we're going to use the same technique we used to make the top to put eyes. We'll use some cone shapes to put eyes on it. And the ultimate result is tikis with some fairly complex shapes. You can see this is a cone. This is the cone. We'll use scrap pieces also to add details like eyebrows. He has a little goatee kind of thing going here, and you can see the structure of the mouth is very firmly joined. Everything is joined here. Everything is very, very solid, and you can see that the tiki himself, he is a very solid structure. And everything is attached, and we'll come back and we'll add color and shapes and things just with paint. And that is the finished model of a tiki, or this is a finished actual tiki, and this is a model of how he works. Can't wait to see what you come up with.